Hey there, if you want to stay updated with real, unfiltered global news, make sure to follow S News. And, it really helps us out if you subscribe, and drop a comment below. Thanks for your support. So there's been a military clash between the Houthis and the UAE and, France is punishing Algeria. A mysterious incident has sunk an Emirati ship in the Red Sea, and Washington is offering a huge reward for any info on the Houthis. Shipping companies are denying ties with Tel Aviv, while Trump is using sneaky tactics to free Israeli hostages and is flat out denying any invasion plan of Gaza. Political turmoil is shaking the Israeli government, and there are rising military tensions between Egypt and Tel Aviv. The Egyptian army chief is getting ready, and Egypt has just signed a dream deal with Tel Aviv. Iran, meanwhile, has revealed secret talks with the US. The Lebanese government is demanding Western guarantees before disarming factions. Macron is threatening Algeria with some pretty harsh sanctions, and Algeria is responding in kind. There's talk of a historic chance to end the agreement. There's also an upcoming Trump-Putin meeting, and Trump is pushing for three-way talks with Zelensky to stop the war. Finland is urging Washington to coordinate with Europe to secure borders, and Zelensky has informed the European Commission of his peace demands. The Red Sea has honestly turned into a graveyard for ships because of these Houthi attacks, while Tel Aviv is getting its naval fleet ready to strike Yemen. According to the BBC, military sources confirmed that an Emirati naval patrol boat, which is connected to Tariq Saleh's forces loyal to the UAE, actually sank after being hit by a drone near Jabal Zakur Island, a place used as a UAE military base in the Red Sea. At the same time, Israel's National Security Institute has revealed growing fears within Tel Aviv about Houthi attacks targeting strategic Israeli sites, especially the gas platform in the Gulf of Aqaba, underwater communication cables, and the Dimona nuclear reactor. These are a direct threat to Israel's economic and digital infrastructure. The Institute has described the Red Sea as a new battleground, right alongside the Gaza and Lebanon fronts, and says the impact of Yemeni attacks is now not just economic but strategic, directly affecting Israel's national security. Similarly, the maritime news site G-Captain reported that ships operating in Israeli ports just can't avoid Yemeni attacks anymore, even though some companies are trying to separate ownership to dodge the strikes. Major shipping lines like Hapag-Lloyd, CMI-TGM, and One are under threat, while alliance lines like Premier Alliance and MSC are steering clear of ports in the area. Some Gemini lines are still staying within the potential attack range. Meanwhile, the Humanitarian Operations Coordination Center in Sana'a has announced sanctions on 64 shipping companies because of the maritime blockade on Tel Aviv. These companies' fleets are now banned from crossing the Red Sea, Gulf of Aden, Arabian Sea, and Bab el-Mandeb Strait, and are considered legitimate targets by Yemeni forces. Some companies have already started cutting ties with Tel Aviv. A report by the site Zakredit revealed that US and Israeli intelligence failed to penetrate Yemen internally, even though they really ramped up their spying efforts after the war escalated. Recruitment attempts ranged from cyber breaches to offering up to $1 million for each piece of information. But the Houthi intelligence agency managed to dismantle over 1,782 spy cells and arrested about 25,000 spies who were cooperating with the US and Israel since 2015. Separately, Mohammed Al-Farah, a member of the political bureau of the Houthi movement, sarcastically commented on a circulated photo showing Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman with Jeffrey Epstein, who's been accused of sex trafficking, saying it seems like they have good memories, and describing both as sharing the same tendencies. Turning to the Palestinian front, the Axios website quoted American officials saying that President Donald Trump decided not to interfere in Israeli government decisions regarding a full invasion of Gaza. At the same time, Netanyahu told Fox News that Trump fully supports Tel Aviv to end the war quickly. The Israeli Channel 2 reported that Trump is considering offering Israeli hostages held by the Palestinian movement to the American administration to negotiate directly with the movement. On the other hand, the Dutch foreign minister announced that the Netherlands would call to suspend the trade clause in the EU partnership agreement with Tel Aviv to pressure the Israeli government to end the Gaza war. On the ground, the Israeli cabinet is discussing Netanyahu's plan to fully occupy Gaza, which includes surrounding the city, moving its residents south, storming militant strongholds, and later expanding operations to the rest of Gaza. The operation is expected to last at least 6 months initially. The plan includes American support and setting up 16 US-funded humanitarian aid centers. Netanyahu sees this plan as the only way to eliminate the Palestinian movement. However, Israeli Chief of Staff Eyal Zamir strongly opposed the plan, warning it could take a year or more, cause a humanitarian disaster, and threaten the lives of Israeli hostages. In a notable statement, Netanyahu said the Gaza invasion is not final and can be stopped if the Palestinian movement agrees to the Egyptian ceasefire terms. Meanwhile, Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir called for continuing the operation to the end. Amid internal Israeli political upheavals, tensions rise on the Egyptian-Israeli front. The governor of North Sinai, former head of military intelligence and commander of the Second Field Army, said Egypt's response would be surprising and exceed expectations if any party approaches the Egyptian border. He warned that anyone who comes near the border only hurts themselves. If anyone even gets close to the Egyptian border, Egypt's response will surprise the whole world. At the same time, the Israeli company Neomed announced signing the biggest gas export deal in Tel Aviv's history with Egypt, worth $35 billion, to supply 130 billion cubic meters of gas to Egypt through Blue Ocean Energy, according to the Israeli paper Globes. The CEO of Neomed, Yossi Abu, called the deal a historic day that changes the game in the energy sector and boosts regional stability. Businessman Isaac Tshuva, Neomed's main owner, said the agreement is a milestone in economic cooperation between Cairo and Tel Aviv. Like Egyptians say, interests bring people together, boss. Moving from the complicated Egypt-Israel relations to the complex Iranian issue, the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson Esmail Baghai denied any set date or place for talks with the United States, pointing out that the Swiss embassy remains the official diplomatic channel for message exchange between the two sides. Baghai confirmed that appointing Ali Larijani to his new position aligns with the country's interests and rejected European attempts to activate a trigger mechanism, stressing Tehran's commitment to good relations with neighboring countries, but warning against those neighbors being exploited by the enemy. From Persia to the American-Lebanese crisis, Lebanese President Michel Aoun said the government session will continue today to discuss decisions related to implementing the principle of exclusive weapons control. He stressed that this goal will be achieved despite difficulties and obstacles. He pointed out that implementing the American proposal requires guarantees from the United States and France, as well as approval from Syria and Tel Aviv. He added that the presidency is waiting for the Lebanese army's plan to monopolize weapons before discussing and approving it. From Beirut to the Cold War between Algeria and France, French President Emmanuel Macron asked his government to suspend the 2013 agreement that exempts Algerian diplomatic passport holders from entry visas. He also asked his Interior Minister to coordinate with Schengen countries to impose restrictions on issuing short-term residence visas for Algerian officials and passports covered by the suspended agreement. Macron went further, calling to use a clause in France's 2024 immigration law to reject both short and long-term residence visas for all official and diplomatic passport holders applying. In response, Algeria's foreign ministry said Macron's message to his government completely absolves France of responsibility and blames Algeria entirely. They stressed that Algeria never initiated a bilateral agreement to exempt holders of diplomatic and official passports from visas. Algeria considered Paris's move an opportunity to openly criticize the agreement. Back to the world on the brink of nuclear war between the two superpowers, the United States took a step to avoid a direct confrontation with Russia, since honestly no one would benefit from that. Russia's presidential aide announced that Moscow and Washington agreed to hold a meeting between Presidents Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump in the coming days. The location has been set, but will be announced later. Meanwhile, the White House spokeswoman confirmed that President Trump wants to meet both Putin and Zelensky to end the war, saying the meeting details are being studied and will be announced at the right time. Also, Finland's president said he participated in a joint call with European leaders Trump and Zelensky to discuss ways to reach a ceasefire. He stressed that achieving lasting peace in Ukraine requires active United States involvement and close coordination with Europe. In this context, Zelensky said he updated the European Commission president on his talks with Trump and the current diplomatic solutions being considered. Finally, thanks for listening, everyone. We appreciate your support and encourage you to follow S News and watch our future videos. Don't forget to subscribe.